I will say there is one thing that has really irritated me about this shoe that I think is just a huge oversight. Hey guys, welcome back to Honeycomb. My name is Keo. It's been a little bit of a while since I've seen you guys here in the studio. And it's summer. It's a beautiful summer here in Manila. It's starting to pick up. The heat is picking up. And I am wearing a hoodie. It is cold here in the aircon, but outside, it's perfect hoop weather. You can expect that it's not going to rain very much. And to kick all of that off, Nike Philippines and Titan have a special guest in town, Sabrina Ionescu, the WNBA champion and the signature athlete for the #1 selling sneaker by a signature athlete right now, which is, of course, the Sabrina. Sabrina 1, Sabrina 2. Both pairs were super interesting. And we're going to unbox a special pair collaboration with Titan today. So why don't we get right into it? All right. On the top of the box, you have the Sabrina logo with the Sabrina signature. I am a big Sabrina fan. As you know, I've been wearing this hoodie for quite a number of unboxings, so you've seen it a few times over. It's one of my favorite hoodies in terms of silhouette and shape. And so the logo appears here on the hoodie, but also on the box. So you have her signature there. On one side, it says Sabrina Ionescu. On the other side, it says Sabrina 2. On the box label, it says Sabrina 2 Titan EP. So Titan is a lifestyle concept store here in Manila, all centered around basketball. So that's both for like day-to-day lifestyle wear and performance wear. Although I am very much of the frame of thought that those are not really different things here in the Manila summer. Let's get at that later. Light bone, racer pink, and Calypso or Dash Calypso. This is in size 5.5 women's or size 4 men. And this is actually my wife's pair of shoes. So she was very gracious to let me unbox it and borrow it for the day. Let's open it up, see what's inside. These are hot. We're going to talk a lot about the features and design of this shoe in this unboxing, but you should know upfront, I have fit Sabrina 2s before, and they do fit true to size for performance. For me, that's a 1:1 fit. The design is really fresh. This is a nice clean pair of light bone sneakers with some nice pops of color. The colors are vibrant, but still not too in your face. A very wearable pair and great for summer. It's actually perfectly colored as an Easter pair of sneakers, right? We're coming up on Easter, spring, summer release. This is a nice colorway. Now, this sneaker was designed by a trio of Filipino artists, or I should say Filipina artists, and it's called Make Space. So those artists are Titan's Alessa Papa, Ayla Torre, who's an illustrator, and Larry Gasman. Larry Gasman Seriana, I should say, who's a very good friend of me and of Honeycomb. We definitely do consider her to be part of the family here, which is why we have this pair of sneakers, because it's her gift to my wife and co-founder of Honeycomb, Nika Kosha. So that's why these are size 5.5 women's, because they're actually Nika's. Now, from a designer's point of view and an aesthetics point of view, I generally don't like things that are designed by a bunch of people. Like when something is designed by a committee, that's usually code for its garbage. And that is not the case for this sneaker. I'm actually very, very impressed knowing that there are 3 artists involved in the making of the sneaker, the design of the sneaker, that it came out as coherent and as complete an idea, that there is a very complete single message in this sneaker. And I would like to commend them for doing that, commend all of Titan for the artistic direction, but particularly for the women who have been very good at working together and getting their voices heard through this sneaker. All right, let's talk about the design, starting with the outsole. So the outsole in this sneaker, it's done kind of like in a lavender translucent rubber. There's a little bit of an inflare here, meaning the curvature of the last kind of curves a bit towards the inside. It's not super neutral, but for what I would consider to be a ground assault pair of shoes, meaning you're not looking at massive jumps, you're looking at more footwork, moving laterally and then getting into your jump shot. I think that the design of this shoe really is modern and well suited for that kind of play, which is the way that most Filipinos play. It is EP, which implies that this is XDR, although I did not see an XDR tag. We do have transparent XDR now, which means extra durable rubber. So you can expect that this is pretty tacky. This is tacky and it'll function really well outdoors. Traction pattern on the Sabrina 2 is very, very fine. So you can expect it to be very grippy on the indoors. On outdoor courts, you can expect them to take quite a bit of damage when you play on unfinished cement courts. On rubberized or painted cement courts, you should be fine. On courts like the courtyard, which are made of all-weather rubber, they'll actually do perfect. In fact, because the all-weather rubber grips back against your feet, sneakers tend to last longer, and you actually have, my experience is that it's weird to run and jump on that, but you jump a little higher and it absorbs a little bit more of your impact when you're playing. You have to get used to that court, but it is a great court. Some flex grooves in there, also a gap here in the middle with some revealed technology here. That is the Cushlon. Now Cushlon, as with all midsole foams, you want some coring out of it so that there's some compression inwards, not just outwards. And then in the toe, you have a herringbone that moves from the midfoot to the toe and kind of a micro herringbone wave bone that runs here down the middle. There is a kind of strip here in the middle of the shoe that also kind of concaves inwards. So it's hard to explain without putting these on or getting them in your feet. I'm going to do my best. But basically, the outsole or the bottom of the shoe here in the toe kind of has a bump on this and then a bump again, kind of with a little recession in the middle. And that is to mimic the way that your foot is actually shaped. So when you step down on this, it's going to splay out a little bit. And that's what I mean when I talk about a ground assault shoe, is that it allows you to kind of move side to side using the balls of your feet, which is not the case for all footwear. Now you have that swoosh in the bottom, and then of course the midsole is made of Cushlon 3.0, I'm going to say. They just say it's the latest Cushlon. All right, so moving up to that midsole. On the outside, you have an outrigger here, and then it wraps up, and then you have the Cushlon up here, shown in this teal color. What do they call it? I think they call it Calypso. I'm guessing that this is the Calypso color. And then here you have a carrier foam. So that's an EVA foam that's not Cushlon. And what that is that it's going to provide some cushioning, but mostly support for the Cushlon. We call this a dual density foam setup. On the back, you have more of that Cushlon, and then in the arch, you have a lot of exposed Cushlon. So this is what you want, is that you want a lot of support here on the outside for your lateral movements, and then the ability for cushion to compress and collapse here on the inner side of your foot where the arch is. And that's going to give you, because when you're stepping, you're usually not pushing this way. You're kind of pushing against the outside of your shoes. So by allowing the foam to compress and contract here in the arch, combined with the external flange over here on the lateral side, that allows the sneaker to respond very well with directional changes laterally and also launching forward. Moving up to the upper, where we see a lot of the design features brought in by the ladies, you have this light bone mesh upper layer, and then you can see underneath there's a second layer. So that's going to provide both containment and a lot of breathability. And that becomes even more evident when you come here to the midsection of the foot, where you see some reveal technology there. And that is kind of like a fly wire layer. The way that that is going to work technologically is that it's going to be anchored all the way to the strobel board, meaning that when you lace up, you're going to have a more 1:1 fit, and these fly wire are kind of going to wrap around your foot closer to the footbed than just the laces going to the outside. So it's going to provide kind of like a double support system, and those are going to kick in depending on how your foot is moving inside of the shoe against the surface, is pushing against the basketball court. So that would be the first system. The second system would be this external panel over here, where we get to see another design feature. So here you have some patterns that run all across that panel, and it appears on both the lateral and the medial side. And they are done in kind of a, I'm going to call it silver. It's a little bit like ecru. It's nice. It's a little bit more feminine than we get to see on a lot of other sneakers. And that looks like it's a tangram design or tangram pattern. So a tangram is like a mid-century shape system that's used in design. It's Bauhaus, post-Bauhaus. They're like pieces of a puzzle that can form different things, but on their own, they're also beautiful, or scattered around, they're also beautiful. So as far as storytelling goes, I think that that's kind of a cool storytelling note, kind of implying the versatile nature of Sabrina Ionescu's game. Moving up on the lateral side, you have the swoosh. Now the swoosh is done in a kind of triple color gradient. And you can see here, the swoosh is done up in kind of a 3-color gradient, starting over here with like a lavender purple, and then it becomes pink. And then towards the tip, it turns to like a greenish yellow. And I'm actually really stoked at that. And there's another feature over here in the heel counter where you see a little bit of that same green lime yellow or lime green color peeking out here just in the edge of the leather for the heel counter. That is a very nice touch and something that most people won't notice, but you know, it's these little details that make for a beautiful sneaker. Moving towards that heel counter, you see this zigzag pattern, which is common on all Sabrina 2 sneakers. It's an S for Sabrina. And on the medial side, you have those same patterns, but you also have some of the tangram patterns appearing in the embroidery, which is a nice touch. That is a very nice touch. Moving up to the laces, you have one pair of laces and then very padded tongue, very padded collar to keep your heel in place. And on the tongue, here on the left side, you have the Titan logo, whereas on the right side, you get the standard Sabrina logo. Moving to the inside, where there is a lot of design features shown, we see that tangram show up again on the inside of the left tongue, and it's got a little graphic of Sabrina playing basketball. And that's an example of how tangrams work, that they can be reformed to mean different things. And on the left shoe, you have the title of the sneaker done also with a tangram, and it says "Make Space." I will say there is one thing that has really irritated me about this shoe that I think is just a huge oversight, and that is that the insoles are not removable. So a big part of the design of this sneaker is the insoles, meaning the illustrators that collaborated to make this colorway did some illustrations on the insoles, but you can't, it's very difficult to see them because they're not removable. They're glued in place. And that is tough because you do need to get them in hand to be able to look inside and see what the drawings on the inside are. But I will tell you about them. First, there is a sketch of some hoopers, some women holding up their jerseys, and the jerseys say "Inspire" and "Future." And in towards the toe, there are some empty seats. I believe those are bleachers. And those bleachers kind of represent the stuff that happens when nobody's watching. That's why there's no one in the seats, right? The games that nobody show up for, and then eventually people will be showing up for those moments. And that's the hustle, right? The hustle to play even when nobody's watching. And then on the other side, you have, oh, these are Larry's drawings. I know these anywhere. These are illustrations of a flower. It's the fire spinner plant. The fire spinner plant is an interesting story. Basically, it's a plant that can grow almost anywhere. So you can throw it into the desert, you can throw it into the ice, and it will grow where it's planted. The fire spinner flower is present on this right insole and throughout the sock liner on the inside of the sneaker. That is a really nice feature. It kind of ties it all together. A really nice storytelling point of like being able to grow in different circumstances and being able to be present in multiple spaces at the same time. And so that speaks quite a bit to the versatility of Sabrina Ionescu. You know, she's an all-around threat. Most people know her for her three-point shooting, but as a ground assault player, as a point guard, I believe that she still holds the NCAA record for the most triple doubles by a player of any gender, both on the boys' side and the girls' side. And then, of course, in the WNBA as well, as a champion, being able to play with other great superstars on her team and find her role inside that environment. But it also is a tribute to like women in general. like where they're able to grow and flourish and able to find themselves in different spaces and also make space for themselves in any environment. Congratulations to Titan, to Ayla, to Aliyah, and to Larry, of course. Great job to all of you. Congratulations to Sabrina Ionescu on winning the WNBA championship. Let's make it back to back. Can't wait to see you in person tomorrow, Sabrina. I do want to say that I'm really proud of kind of the design tack that they took here, the risk that Titan took. You know, a lot of times when sneakers are Filipino inspired, they tend to lean on crutches like the flag, the colors, and Titan is guilty of that as well. But you see with this collaboration and the previous one on the Jordan 2, you see that there really are so many stories that can be told by Filipinos, that everyone's experience is unique and everyone does have a story to tell. And this one is certainly one of those beautiful stories told by the women in and around Titan and Titan basketball. Now, if you do want to pick up the Titan X Sabrina 2 Make Space, it is going to be available first in a very limited release here in the Philippines, in NBA Philippines store, and in Titan, of course, all Titan doors. And then I believe Sabrina comes from Manila and then goes to Hong Kong and to China. And it will be available in limited release in those locations where she's going to be traveling to. So if you are in one of those countries, go for it. And then it's going to be releasing in Titan, again with a general release, followed by a global release on March 22 of 2025, which means that this is a sneaker that should be widely available. They are available in, I believe, size 3.5 men's, which is women's size 5, all the way up to size 15 men's. Now, how many pairs in each size will vary, and if it is indeed an extended women's sizing, that means that as with many Sabrina 2s in kind of size 8.5 to 11, they might be difficult to pick up. So make sure you do pick up your pair and don't sit on this one. It is a great design and very versatile. And you know what? It's Easter, it's summer, it's the right time of year to make space for these in your collection. All right, I wish you guys good luck, good health, some great pickups. Peace.